interwebs. This is our favorites. And we are off Slate Media, and we are talking to you today about a collection of director, genre, actor, whatever. We like to talk about our favorites in any said category. And I need to jump right into this. I am mad. I am mad today. You want to know why? This man over here, Jacob, I don't know what your middle name is.
Thomas.
Jacob Thomas Moerdyke.
I thought you said Donovan for a second. I was like, huh?
This man made me watch the worst movie I have seen. Maybe ever.
Oh, come on.
Maybe ever.
You were there when we watched Cats.
Oh, come on.
This is worse than Cats.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
No,
is.
it's not.
Yes, it is. Anyway, really quick.
It is definitely not worse than The Room.
The Room is different. The Room is different.
Oh.
The Room is entertaining.
Is that subjective or objective?
Yeah, did you like The Room? Wait a second. He liked watching The Room. That makes it a good movie.
Yeah, automatically. Hallowed than thou.
It's entertaining for me, but anyway.
Then it makes it a good movie by your logic.
Yes, there you go. I'll admit it. But, okay. Really quick, so everybody know, we did high school movies.
Yeah.
So anything based on teenagers finding their way in life, this is the show.
And that is what DJ Qualls did. Thank you very much.
Okay. Like I said,
You know what's going to hurt you, Jake?
That you ranked
That
Rat
someone
Race
the other-
higher than this.
Yeah, that someone months ago mentioned DJ Qualls, and a bunch of us went, who? This person that said that was about 40.
That makes sense.
And you're not far off from 40.
No, I'm not.
And so they said, DJ Qualls? And a bunch of us were like, no. And then they showed this picture. We go, oh, no. So
yeah, tell us, what is this movie?
Well, first, who is DJ Qualls?
Who is DJ
First,
Qualls?
who is DJ Qualls?
I want you to explain, because
I don't have an explanation. It's just an enigma. He's a big-eared, big-nosed, wonderful man.
But if he made this movie, is he really?
Yes. You don't gotta be a terrible person to have fun in a terrible movie.
No, that's true. You want to know what I feel?
What?
I feel like if you took 13-year-old me and said, make a movie, this is probably pretty close to what it would be.
Okay, so you guys all know I have a history of this. Sometimes I like to be a troll with my picks.
Oh, so
I was definitely hitting that swing this time.
you get a grand slam with this
I
one.
picked the new guy, and I will be dead honest with you. I'm going to quote my favorite letterbox. I love this trash. To be perfectly honest, when I was a kid, when I was in high school, I loved this movie. I thought it was funny. Oh my gosh, I thought it was so funny. It was one of the first 5 DVDs I ever owned. And DJ Qualls in this is a bass player. Did I already say I picked the new guy? I picked the new guy.
You picked the new guy, yeah.
On
HBO Max, if you want to watch it.
I have a lot of nostalgia for this. Watching it again, it is garbage. I get that. I honest to goodness get that. It has so many. I just can't even.
It's so hard to put into words.
Yeah,
how atrocious this movie is.
It's garbage, but it's wonderful. It's just one of those comfort things where it's like, okay, well, when I put it on, I don't really got to watch it, but I feel like I am a kid again. It's very problematic. It's very problematic. I mean, have you ever been able to pee around a corner?
No, and I don't plan to. I don't plan to have an old librarian. What was she?
It was a librarian. I think.
I don't want to have an old librarian reaching into my pants, yanking me around. No.
To be fair, she didn't reach into his pants.
Okay, no, it was already hanging out, right? Is that
it was through his pants.
Oh, it was through. I'm sorry.
Dizzy was excited, and everyone's laughing at him, and then the librarian reaches out and is like, "What is this?" And I'm sitting there what am I watching? And I sent you a picture because I'm like, "What?" It's 5 minutes, and you're like, "Oh, it gets worse," and it didn't. That was the worst it got.
I mean,
no, I meant worse as in bad.
Okay, I thought you meant it got it was just crazier than that. I was like, how can it get crazier?
I remember it being a lot crazier than it actually is.
Like, it's like when you talk about like crazy stuff, like the breaking his dick in half. Like,
thank you, Dickey. We got the point.
I mean, just like
Dickey.
like,
the sound of the everyone going, ooh, and I'm like, oh.
Like, it's so offensive. It's so...
I know, it's so stupid.
It's bad and like, I'm not kidding you when I tell you, it took me 48 hours to finish this movie. It took me 2 days to watch the whole thing because I had to watch it in chunks because I'm just like, I had to be done with this. I can't keep watching it anymore.
It's so short, too.
No! It was so short! And it felt like it was 10 hours long.
It's a terribly problematic movie. I get that. It's garbage. I get that. I don't know. And then Lyle Lovett's in it, and I like him. And
okay, and we also
they lit him on fire.
It's not on fire.
The marshmallow.
There's
That made me
ions.
laugh. Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Well, the one good thing, I don't know if this is good, but Zooey Deschanel's in it. And I like her.
That's not good.
No, but
They made her sing in it too.
And she's a good singer.
She is, but I wish they would stop telling me that I wish that everyone would stop telling me that Zooey Deschanel can sing.
Why? Because she's a good singer.
How do I put this? It's her personality, and I don't like that about it. It's not a thing she can do. It's her personality. There we go.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, I loved her in New Girl. I loved her in Elves. I really, truly loved Zooey Deschanel. So I was happy to see a familiar face that I enjoyed seeing.
I always do get a kick out of that at the ending where they fake like she's gonna confess her love to Dizzy. And
I mean, the whole time
the other guy who's making the offensive gay jokes the entire movie.
Well, when she was that exact point you're talking about, like when she's professing, like I'm like, she's not. No, that doesn't seem right. She was gonna confess her, like, and
that
then
was pretty good.
And then she was whoop, just makes out with the guy that was on her left.
I will say the scene at the video store where he basically says, I don't know these people. I'm like, yeah, I was waiting for that. But then when they just right away go on the speaker and say his name when the people from the old school come in.
And then Vanilla
Ice beats him up.
Vanilla Ice was in this, guys.
I didn't know who it was.
You didn't know it was Vanilla Ice?
I saw him. I go. He looks familiar, and I know I've seen him before, but I had no idea.
Stupid.
I had to look up who it was. I go, oh, yeah, that is him. Why did I not recognize him?
I'm so conflicted by this movie because I love it and I hate it.
And how did they get Tony Hawk to be in this movie?
They said, "Hey Tony, you want to make some money? You don't really
Tony,
have to do anything."
Hey Tony, you want the O'Connell brothers to break your skateboard over your head? That made me laugh. I laughed really hard at that. Was it Rock Ridge? Rock Ridge. Whoa! That they stand up and because Tony Hawk's cheering for Rock Ridge while everyone else is.
I think the other thing for me is when I was in high school, I definitely related to the movie in that I was like, I wonder what it would be like to go and start over at a different school because I didn't feel like a whole lot of people liked me and it was just kind of a thing.
I mean, that's fair. Like, I was a complete dork in high school, so I could imagine.
In high school?
Complete dork.
Okay, I still have a little dorkisms in me, but...
Dorky.
A little?
Okay, fine, I'm still a dork, all right? You got me.
Well...
But I'm just saying, like, I can see that part of the movie. Taking an idea of wanting to start fresh out of high school and making that a comedy.
Yeah, they just don't do enough with it. Like,
no, and you're telling it from the perspective of the guy in jail that shows him how to be funky.
They have a really funny kind of premise going on, and they just don't push it hard enough. It settles for being very laissez-faire.
And it's very schmaltzy.
Yeah.
It goes from being like this wacky, offensive thing to just being very like... I don't even know. I know it wasn't anything. All of a sudden, it's just like, oh, we're the cheese factor is just ramping up, and it's not even the same movie anymore.
That's the thing is, it's so disjointed. Like it's just like I said. I truly felt that this movie. It feels like if you gave like 13-year-old boys like a couple $1,000, probably is what they shot this for realistically.
Oh, probably.
Probably.
I mean, come on.
Like-
Think about all the people they had to pay.
That's what I'm saying. Like you actually have cameos. You have some big people, and you have some ridiculously raunchy scenes. That
What did you think the budget was?
I'm gonna guess. Do you want me to give an actual number?
Yes.
I'm gonna just shout in the dark and say
He said
5,000.
5,000?
Yeah.
13 million.
Oh. All right.
How much did it make?
31.
This
Really?
made money?
Holy crap.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
But you also have to consider the time it came out in. In that time,
What year was this again?
2001,
2002.
That checks out so much.
Like, this is the type of movie that was
Yes.
popular then. And they're quick and easy to make.
This
Basically,
was
what
a
horror
very-
movies are right now, that's what these kind of high school comedies
Oh
were
no,
then.
you're absolutely
They just
right.
churn them out
Sites-
until people get sick of them.
Cites things like She's Out of My League. Cites
American Pie.
That's a
That's
better
probably
one.
the start of them.
Mm-hmm. Like this, yeah, like
or like Not Another Teen Movie, or
She's the man.
yeah,
mhm. Like all those.
did I say She's Out of My League already?
Yes.
Yeah,
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
yeah.
That's
like,
not a high school movie.
Yeah, I know.
Not
No,
even,
what's
that's
the
just a
what's the one
rom-com.
that is a
like
high school movie?
teen party movies.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
Because that's Kate Hudson
that's
in
the one.
both, right? Am I thinking of that right? Or is that Julia Stiles in 10 Things? I've never seen 10 Things.
I don't remember.
No, I'm
It's
thinking
one
of
my
Failure
wife's
to Launch
favorite
is the
movies,
one.
and I can't think of it.
Failure to Launch is what I was thinking of, and that's not a high school movie.
No.
That's what I was thinking of with Kate Hudson. But no, not, 10 Things I Hate About You. No.
Yeah, but yeah, no, you're right. It is that era. Like this is absolutely the
I
style of movie.
I understand that it's, again, I know I've said this. I understand it's garbage. It's just kind of it reminds me of
Being a high schooler.
no, just watching movies on my Xbox upstairs.
in high school.
When I thought in high school, well, no, yes,
No?
yeah, actually,
Yeah, you graduated in what, 04, 05?
05, yeah. But being upstairs in my room when I don't know.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know.
It reminds you of back in the day.
Yeah.
You're like,
It's
oh,
nostalgia.
This is one of those movies I'm not supposed to watch, and I'm watching it.
It was not a
One of
movie
those?
that my parents would like me to watch, specifically because of that bikini scene.
Oh yeah, all the raunch scenes. Like,
Really?
Oh my
that's
goodness.
what.
There weren't that many like raunchy scenes.
That one though,
That one in particular.
That one in particular was just her.
She
flying.
started. I go, oh, okay, we're doing this, and then it keeps going
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's going. Like,
and
you didn't
going, and it's all for a joke. I'm like, I don't know if that was worth that joke at all.
He
Yeah,
just wanted
it
to
was-
show her off because she's
Yeah.
the hot girl from horror movies.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all it was.
You made us watch The New Guy.
I know. I still can't like. In case anybody was wondering, this does in fact have a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. A whopping 7.
I warned you. I warned you.
I really.
I
truly
got
was,
nice and warned you.
I appreciate that, but I was not mentally. So
I honestly don't remember it being that bad.
It's
I also don't really have another like high school movie to pick, so
that's fair.
mostly because they're all sort of bad.
Well, I mean, like, especially like because like the high school movies that like we grew up on are like those early 2000s kind of stuff where it's they're not good movies, but they're
Well, I mean, the
entertaining.
high school movies that I grew up on, because you were in high school much later.
I mean, I still like the ones that I grew up on were like High School Musical and stuff like that,
I mean,
Which
it's
I-
pretty bad too.
which I had a lot of fun with though. Just saying.
I was gonna say you entered high school in 2010
Yeah.
when
literally.
Jake was leaving college.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But I still watch, like, I still remember, like, watching all those early stuff. And, like, you were saying, like, it's the ones, like, oh, your parents, like, oh, don't watch those, like,
That's literally like American Pie. I had to watch it like that.
yeah, exactly. American
Yeah,
Pie.
and then you watch it and you realize, wow, this isn't good at all.
The first one
the
I
first
enjoyed.
American Pie is fantastic.
I don't like it.
I don't know about fantastic, but the last time I watched it, I was like, this really kind of is the best one.
It's charming. Charming is a very, I think,
The only part I like was Eugene Levy. Every time Eugene
Eugene
Levy
Levy's-
was in it, I was laughing.
It's- I
He's
mean,
so good.
He's got the best line of the movie. We'll just tell your mother we ate it.
Yes!
It's the only part that actually made me laugh. The rest of the movie, I'm like, yeah, this is not my thing.
and then you're me, and you have a font. and then you're me and you have fond memories of the American Pie movies and you watch the American
Wedding, Reunion.
Is that the
2? I think those are all the movies.
the one that they rebooted in like 2020 where it's girls.
Oh, I don't know. There's all the spin-offs too.
Oh, there's so many spin-offs of that. It's ridiculous. But I think I roughly remember the newer one that it was just flopped and nobody went to go see it.
No, it came out straight to Netflix. I got to think of what it is.
Then I definitely don't know what you're talking about.
Oh gosh, American.
But
it might just be American Pie.
Yeah, that's what I think there was a reboot. Anyway.
Oh, it's American Pie Girls Rule.
There you go.
Came out in 2020.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Well, anything else on the new guy?
I have nothing else to say about the new
except
guy.
for that he's a bass player and like that's just never.
They didn't even finish the song. They played for 40 seconds.
Did you
they
expect
get cut
them
off
to?
really fast.
Yeah. I expected them to play more than 40 seconds.
He wasn't really playing the bass line for that.
No, he wasn't.
It kind of annoyed me.
Anyway, shall we move on? Let's do it. Okay, Jared.
Yes.
Your pick made me cry a couple times.
Oh, you never cry.
Oh, me no.
Jake, did you cry?
So just let me save that for my spiel.
Okay.
Right, so
Well, I decided that a good one to talk about for me to revisit to claim it as my favorite would be Your Name, which is the most recent of all of our picks. Came out in 2016, massive hit in Japan, pretty well known over here as well. And high school is a key part of it. It's not like the only thing.
Mhm.
If anything, it's like the first act.
Their high school age.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I remember it's one of those that you hear so much about. So when you finally watch it, you have kind of this, you have like, there's a standard it has to hit. It's like, okay, people freak out about this. Why?
Mhm.
And as the first chunk of the movie is happening, I'm like, this is fun. It's a body switching premise. And spoilers ahead, please,
Yes.
if you have not seen it.
please go watch this. It's
Because-
so good.
Because if we
and then come
spoil it,
back.
if we spoil it here, it kind of ruins the experience. And it's still good on rewatches, but that first time really kind of solidifies your opinion of it.
I think I'm going to watch it on Saturday.
I really wish I could have caught this in theaters. I really do. I'm like mad at myself that I wasn't able to see this in theaters.
Oh, so I was like, man, I heard about it at the time, but I just never. And they're a lot better about foreign releases these days at theaters, like a lot better.
Mhm.
Even 6 years ago,
Was this
They
even
weren't-
in theaters?
it probably.
I'm pretty sure I remember seeing this advertised.
Yeah, I just feel like nowadays a lot of foreign movies get better releases over here because Americans are pretty stupid when it comes to reading subtitles. So, but I feel like because of all like the Dragon Ball movies and
Well, you had
Demon Slayer and all those
I also
getting
feel like
traction, I feel like other movies get through too.
Parasite as well. I think really pushed the door open for a lot of people to start watching. But
Hate me on this.
What?
I watched it because I watched it at 10 o'clock at night and my brain just didn't have energy to.
I went to rent this on YouTube.
It's funny.
And I don't know how you guys watched it, but YouTube just automatically just put me in the dubbed, and I don't know why. I went to watch. I wanted to see the actual subtitles version. I truly did.
I did have the subtitles on though. It's different than what they say in American. It's
Yeah.
funny.
But so
Yeah, I watched the Japanese.
Unfortunately, me and Jake both had to watch the dubbed versions.
I wouldn't say I wanted to, just didn't have the energy for it.
I wanted to, but like I said, YouTube just the default was
Also,
dubbed.
I'm not a gateway anime person. If you want to watch the dub and that's how you enjoy it, go ahead and do it.
Fair enough.
Did you say gateway?
I did. I meant
gatekeeper.
gatekeeper.
I was like a gateway anime person,
like-
so we're
it's kinda-
using you to watch other things.
I mean, you kind of did.
It's kind of
I
you
kinda
are
am.
actually a gateway.
So actually, let me. You might.
I mean,
Do you want me to go now? Or
Just go. I'll get back. to
okay.
mine.
But
But there are spoilers ahead every
there
day.
are massive spoilers. So, I would say, is it offensive to say? Nah, I'm just gonna say it. I'm the closest to a weeb of any of us.
that's fair.
I don't like to use names like that because I don't know what ones are offensive and what ones aren't.
That's valid. That's valid.
So I had obviously heard about this and I've seen a lot of movies like this. These things tear me up, man.
Just emotionally.
Yeah, like at the end, I was like, say something. I literally in living room was like, say something, dude. Say something. Do not do this to me.
So it's when they run out and they see each other at the stairs, right? And they both
but they
go,
do it like 3 times.
I know the fact that on the buses. No, not the bus, the train. Sorry. When they were passing on the train, I'm like,
dude, when they're on the train and they see each other through the windows and then it just cuts and there's that light, it's a loud cut. I was like, she did not just get in a train accident, you motherfuckers.
Like this caused me emotional pain. It really did.
You're like, come on. And the thing that really hurts is a lot of people compare this to how when they switch bodies feels like a dream. Yeah. Because you don't remember. That's why he couldn't remember her name right after that cut hurt. When she's starts to write. And
oh my God.
Oh, what a great cut. That's the best cut of the whole movie. And when he's like, what is her name? And I'm like, how do you not remember? And I'm remembering it feels like a dream. You can remember things that happen, but you don't remember people's names. Yes. Yeah. Or faces. So, and then you think, oh, it's been 5 years since this happened. Of course they've moved on, but for some reason they recognize each other.
Well, they haven't moved on though. Like not as far as like a romantic sort of thing.
But they moved, their lives have continued. So of course it's like, oh yeah, remember all that stuff happening back then, but you don't really. So when they get to the stairs and they like recognize each other and then don't, but they don't. It's like and they're walking past each other, and I think I was leaning forward the first time, and I'm like, come on. And then they both say it at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. And they turn, and I think I shot out of my seat. Like, yeah! and it ends after the what is your name, right? Or I don't.
Can I have your name?
Can I have your name?
Yes. Oh, God. What a.
So, with that said, the whole big twist of it being 2 different time frames that they live in, I saw that coming.
Really?
I think I know why. Because there's a very specific time that this came out in, and time travel was a big damn thing. Like you got the girl that leapt through time, a whole bunch of other ones that are sort of like this.
I have one in my mind, but I want to get pictures.
The girl that leapt through time is the biggest one that came into my head. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, okay. And she's wearing like more traditional garb. So I was like, well, that's weird. And then what really tipped me off was in the cafe when Mitsuha is in Taki's body and says, oh, I could live for a whole month on these prices. And the other guy goes, yeah, maybe 10 years ago. I'm like, wait a second.
That's good.
I didn't pick up on that.
So that was not so much of a bombshell for me. I understand. Like I kind of got that. What was the bombshell for me was that the reason she stopped jumping was because the comet hit the ground. I was like, no. Oh. Because I thought that the comet was the thing that was causing it. It kind of is.
Kind of is.
But like I thought it was more like of a mystical sort of thing.
They don't really, which I don't mean to cut you off, but I like that it didn't 1000% explain that.
Yeah, they Midnight in Paris it.
Yes.
They just let it happen.
Which is usually for the better, like when you leave those things up to the imagination.
Yeah. And so when it was the comet, but it was because the comet killed her, I was like,
that
what?
Hurt so
how
much.
Are they gonna twist this one? And of course you know how it's gonna end. Like
I didn't know how it was gonna end, and I was
the middle
crying.
section is my favorite part of the movie. Because the body switching's fun, and the end where they're trying to stop it, those, I think those are good. It's that middle where it's like, oh, I'm going to go find her because I have, he called the number and it's disconnected.
Well, and at that point, you don't know what's going on with her either.
And it's like that mystery versus like, are they? And then when you come to that realization and they're like, oh, it's gone. Got hit by a meteor, and you're like, what?
Do you know the other? I don't know if it was a twist or not, but it was just a bit of lore that I really appreciated about it that I kind of wish they'd have done a little bit more with. Him realizing that this happens in her family and that it all and to the people like around the town, and it all had to do with the comet.
Yeah, is it the grandmother says something, right?
Yeah,
No, he's in that. Well, yes, but he's in that room and he looks up at that shelf when he's Mitsuha, and is it Mitsuha?
I don't know if he
Yeah, you're right.
And he sees all those pictures there and he goes, "Oh, this happens to a lot of people in her family, and it all has to do with this." I was like, "That's interesting." And then they just never talk about it again,
Mm-hmm.
except for her dad knew that that's what was happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So really quick, I just want to mention for the time travel, like back in the day, like when this was like really popular, I feel like this really relates to a Netflix show that I was watching a lot. It's called Dark, and they did they used time travel to hit those emotional moments of the very same way this did. So I just
Is that a 2016 thing?
No.
It came out in like a couple years, like 2018 or 19, I think. So like within those 2 or 3 year span. I still like it was like back when
It was the year after.
It was 2017?
Yep.
Okay. So I remember it was like back when like time travel was really popular, and I love using like fantastical and mystical elements like that to just smack you over the head with emotional. Like
They did it really well, hiding it in this, because it's like they distract you with the spectacle of the comet.
Yeah. It
And
was
you're focused on this, and the answer is really simple, and they pepper in what you're supposed to be listening to, but you're looking at this and focusing at this.
Almost like a red herring, kind of.
I was going to say that moment with the grandmother where it's like, wait, you know it's not me? Yeah, I've known it. It's not been you. I'm like, I like when characters are smart enough, and if it runs in their family, so that's one thing, but also like she could just tell and didn't say anything. I go, that's such an interesting layer, and you're right. They don't go into that. And I think it's because at this point we have to go.
Yeah, there's no time for it.
Yeah.
And it's really not what the movie is about.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just a piece of. I also want to know why she was so horrified that he drank the sake stuff.
Because it's her.
I think it's
spit
just
out
because.
rice.
Yeah. I think it's just because
If you chewed up a bunch of food and then you spit it out to be, and it's something.
I don't remember it being that.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's fermented spit out rice.
Huh.
They talk about it in the movie. I don't know about what they say in the dub though, because I was reading the subtitles of mine where it was like, that's what it is. And she was a little embarrassed that they have a family shrine that they're doing that for, and that's kind of teased throughout that. Yeah, she doesn't like do it. So the thought of like, imagine you did that and you made that, and then someone that you have a crush on drank your spit.
Okay, yeah,
alcohol.
I just didn't get that. I just didn't get that. That's what that was.
And she's like, "Yo, gross." And he's like, "What?
You were waking up grabbing my."
I only did it once. It's like, you liar!
They woke up. It was funny.
That was a bit overplayed. Like the first time is funny, and then the crying one is funny, and then the other times it's like, okay, it's kind of getting.
We get it. You're really not used to this at this point, buddy. Like it's whatever.
Yeah. The
Also, the way they choose, the way they figure out how to communicate is interesting.
It's really smart. That's what this movie. It's very Slate. The characters aren't dumb, and I like that. Like they're actually smart. They know how to figure things out.
He gets onto his phone and it all deletes itself. That hurt. It's like he thinks he's going crazy, and he's just fixated on it.
I don't know how that happened either.
The comet.
Right.
Yeah. That's all I got. But just that moment of. It's why when 5 years passes, he thinks, oh, yeah, I was real into that thing that happened for so long. I don't know why. And it's because that's all he remembers is I was really interested, but I don't remember why I was interested.
Do you know what's really like what I thought was going to happen initially? I mean, it's one of those things, they're going to be together in the end, even if it teases you at it. When he goes back and starts changing things as Mitsuha, and then it switches back and she's the one acting and apart from him, and they show him like on the night the comet and like going out and watching it, and they you see the center break off. I'm like, did they change things enough for it to not hit? And they had me believing that it wasn't going to hit that time, and then it went boof, and I was like,
you said that
because seeing that made it all actual.
Yeah, and I didn't remember like when it actually dropped and broke. I didn't, because I know at one point in the movie they said like this was, I think They obviously said that the school was the line, that it wasn't hit, but I didn't remember that at the time when they were
outside the blast zone.
Yes, outside the blast zone. I didn't remember what the blast zone was at the time. So when we're watching them and trying to escape, I was like, do all of them make it? I don't think there's all of them actually make it. Like, I was stressed. Like, this movie had me.
Oh, and that moment when he's looking through all the people that died and he sees their name and he just stops. Oh man, that's just such a.
I want to watch it again.
I want to watch it again too. I want to see this because
Can we stop the podcast and just watch it again?
The reason I want to watch this again is I want to watch it in the theater screen. It is so beautiful. The animation is just drop dead gorgeous. I want to see this on just a massive screen.
The scene when they're up on the mountain and they can see.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
So good, and then of course the moment where she falls off her bike, right? Mm-hmm. And she looks at her hand. That's what happens, right? And he didn't write his name. He wrote, "I love you." And I was thinking,
oh my God, that made me cry. That made me cry.
I was like, oh, that doesn't help.
I know, dummy.
That's one of the cynical Letterboxd reviews.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I might have actually liked that one.
He spent all this time. It's something like, Mitsuha is gay, and he spent all this time writing, "I love you," and he didn't even write his name.
Like, come on, buddy, just write your name down so you can remember. Oh,
but it makes more sense for his character to write "I love you" because, I mean, he actually was talking about, I wanted to tell her right before that happens, doing the anime thinking monologue.
I also really, really liked everything with Mitsuha and Taki. Taki was his name, right?
The two main characters?
Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure it was Taki. But when she was in his body and she was getting him his dates, I just thought all of that was just, it was so funny and it just felt so real.
There's a great moment where the girl he has a crush on him becomes his friend. Mm-hmm. I like how she straight up says to him, like, "This was nice, but I can tell you like someone else." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it's okay. Like, I can tell that there's someone else." I go, that, and even this time I'd forgotten about that detail. I go, I like that. That feels real. Where she's smart enough to know, I can tell you're not in this. There's someone else.
Yeah,
like that's, and he didn't even realize that he had the crush.
They wrote this. The characters were so well written. They feel like real people.
Mitsuha's two friends that ended up hooking up were great. And when Taki hears them, after the 5 years, and it like sends him Vietnam flashbacks basically, where he's like, whoa, and I was like, oh, those two did link up. That's funny.
So when that scene happened, so because she cut her hair, she kind of looks like the other girl. Like, if you in that scene, I thought it was Mitsuha for a second.
Were you scared for a second?
Oh yeah, my heart sank for a second. I was like,
but then,
I'm telling you, these movies tear me up, man.
And I like how it's all set up of the connection is made when she gives him her hair string thing.
Yeah.
Because when she goes to see him, and I think she's really disappointed, and I'm thinking like you were in his body for so long and you never noticed he's actually pretty tall. So when you're standing eye to eye with him, I know you've never seen him in your body, but you couldn't tell he was a couple years younger. Like, he's much shorter. Is he
younger though?
Yeah, because they're 2 years apart, I think. Yeah,
but just because they're 2 years apart doesn't mean they're younger than you. That he's younger than she is.
I don't know.
They don't really say that.
They never did.
I think she's 17. It said 17 in the book with all the deaths, and I think he's got to be about 17 or 18. Because he's still in. I think he's still in high school. I want to see.
Okay.
But the point being, he's younger than himself when she was in his body. So I remember thinking, how does she not recognize he's just younger looking? Because I looked a lot different at 15 than 17.
Oh yeah, you had a lot of changes at that point.
Still chubby and weird looking, but just different.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
That's the thing. It's like, how did she not notice? There's also
she is 3 years older than he is.
Okay. The other thing is and it's this is a nitpick. It's not even me criticizing. It's just me noticing did he never notice any did he never get on her phone and notice the date? What year it was? I don't care about it, but it's one thing I feel like I'd notice a date and then spiral into some kind of panic attack. Who cares? It's not important.
Probably
it's just
assume
one
that
thing.
The phone was malfunctioning.
Yeah, maybe.
That's true. It's just one thing I go, that's weird that he never realized what year it was. Okay.
But I like when you have to reach for like nitpicks like that.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just.
That's why I'm not criticizing.
Right,
the movie.
exactly.
It's also when they describe it as a dream, it probably felt like a dream, and like
yeah,
if you're in a dream like that, you don't take note of things like that.
That's a good point.
Unless it's like a lucid dream and you can control yourself.
Also, I do want to mention, I really like the fact that like the different settings between the two characters. Like I like that she was out in the middle of nowhere with a beautiful, and like he was in Tokyo. Like I just think like
they had to do that though to maintain the illusion.
It makes sense
of the time,
and I just like that. There's like a fancy vocabulary word that I can't think of, but like those two places.
Juxtaposition.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking of. Yes. I just think that worked so well to just really show who those characters were. It's a good movie, guys.
Great movie.
I'm going to watch it again on Saturday.
Yeah. All right. Anything else before we jump on to...
I think we...
All right.
Jump into Dickey.
Oh.
I only said that
with a little spice. No. Although I know you're not the one that's spiced about... But
I'm not really spiced about it.
Spiced isn't the right word. But when you think about high school movies, to me, there is the absolute king... And that is The Breakfast Club. I really think this is the epitome of
bullying.
High school students in general. I think this whether you think yourself relates to one character wholly, or you can see part of yourself in each character. I think there is something in this movie for everybody.
I didn't see myself in any of them.
Really?
I'm too weird.
Janitor.
Yeah, the janitor.
See? There you go. Every single character in this movie is very similar to what we were just talking about with
he sees more of himself in me, so other than The Breakfast Club.
No, but I'm just saying, like, how your name, how I really like the characters, that's what The Breakfast Club is for me. Every single one goes into detention on that Saturday, and they all come out a different person and a more understanding person. And I think that's what... Yes! Oh, what? What? You guys are talking. What?
I didn't say anything.
No, you're snickering. You're snickering and holding back.
Continue.
Jake's just wait. Just continue.
I know. I wanted to... Okay. I mean, I can gush about this movie all like as much as I want, but I want to hear why. Like I want to be able to... I want to fight you on some things here. What are you... You're holding back something. And I want to...
Do you want me to lay out my big problem with it so then you can use that? Or do you want to do it?
I'll start because I feel like you think the same thing I do. Or at least a similar thing.
Yeah, I was going to say me be your springboard because I think you're going to go harder than I am.
I don't think I'm going to go that hard because it's not a bad movie. Like, it's funny. It's just... It's problematic. It's more problematic than A New Guy. John sticks his face in the girl's crotch, and it's played like it's cute.
Well, yep, no, all right, you got me there.
There's something that
he
makes
does
it more
nothing but bully them, and he doesn't even change at the end. And then it's supposed to be some kind of triumphant moment, like, oh, I conquered the world. No, you pissed people off for 8 hours, and they just managed to surmise that they're just as damaged as you are.
That's
that's not triumphant. He didn't conquer anything. He didn't conquer his own shit. All he did was deny it.
But I don't think it's supposed to be like. Obviously, he puts his fist up at the end because, like, he thinks
it's triumphant. Because it's not.
He's cool. Because he thinks he's cool. And what I think this movie does really good is that it just shows each character, and I just really like. It feels like a very natural.
It is a very natural progression. I will give you that, and it is funny. And each of the actors and actresses in their own right are good, but they go through this whole 30-minute spiel where they're sitting around discussing their own damage, and one kid admits to almost offing himself. Granted, in a funny way.
No, it's.
But then they go through this life-changing realization of we need to tear down the masks of high school, and then they immediately go right back to the stereotypes.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
But if you say that there's triumph in the fact that I've realized that this is a problem,
that's what I'm saying.
then you can't backpedal in the last.
It's not actual triumph. It's what he thinks is triumph.
And is that not sad to you?
It is, and that's the whole point of the movie.
But you said it's the king, and you said it's.
Yes, I think it's a really well-made movie about teaching lessons. It's all
lessons that they
finding.
didn't learn. Lessons that the princess literally took, and 30 seconds later went, "You're the smart one. You write our essay for us."
Yes, that's what.
And no one reported the stupid teacher for telling him he was gonna dick slap Johnny into the dirt. And everybody wants to emulate Johnny. Like,
no, they don't.
They do.
They don't.
Okay, sweetie, I know that you love this movie. They do. If you pay attention to culture, especially with people my age, Johnny is the one they quote. Johnny is the one that everybody wants to be like. He's the cool kid. How is bullying cool? Tell me, how is bullying cool?
It's always like, oh, he thinks he's cool. Oh, I want to be like him. Oh, yeah, but you like deep down inside.
Oh, no.
Deep down, you know that's not right.
And
that's what this movie does. It really shows you how messed up we are as kids. Every single person that lived as a teenager hates their parents. And
I didn't hate my parents.
No. Okay.
I got frustrated with them, but
85 to 90% really doesn't like their parents and they rebel. Okay. I really truly believe
I rebelled, but I didn't hate my parents.
I didn't rebel. Okay. I'm smart.
Also, have you met his mom? He is smart not to rebel.
I realized at a very young age, they feed me and clothe me and let me live there. I'm not going to piss them off. I never did like that. But
sometimes you have to do that. You have to go, you have to mess up as much as one does as a teenager, as much as I messed up as a teenager, let's just say.
And you relate to it because of your personal experiences.
Yes. That's what we...
So let me ask you, how old were you when you first watched this movie?
Oh, God, I was in high school. I was probably like 16 or 17
Do you know how old I was when I first watched this movie?
How old?
35. Do you know,
do
you know why children's problems make no sense to me? Because I'm 35 and I've gone through all of them, and it's like, you're really upset because everybody's putting pressure on you because you're cool. Oh, poor baby.
That's what it used to be like.
It isn't like that anymore?
It still is.
How do you know? You're not a kid.
I mean, obviously I'm not a kid anymore.
Are you sure?
But I'm just saying.
Life is a nightmare.
I'm just saying. Even though kids nowadays aren't listening to those beautiful emo songs that you were just singing.
Yeah, well, they were, and then they got delayed.
Because of wind. Called on account of wind.
That's going to be an old joke when this comes out, but nicely done.
You want to know my problem? Because
yes,
I think
comes out Tuesday.
There you go. Yeah,
he's harsher on this than I am.
Okay.
I think it's funny. I mean, it's fine as a movie. It just its themes are.
I know I'm yelling, but
it doesn't.
I can see where you're coming from. I'm just trying to.
For how much progression there is, it doesn't stick the landing. Because after all that development, they literally change one of them to be more likable. The makeover spits in the face of everything the movie sets up.
You really think so?
It does.
Yes.
I think
it does. It talks about just being yourself and, again, pulling down the facade of high school.
And accepting others that are different.
The one person that has been who she is the entire time gets changed.
No, she doesn't.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me.
The reason Emilio Estevez likes her is because he sees her.
Yes.
She's been there the entire fucking time.
And she was the reason he likes her is because of everything.
Because they made her pretty.
She said. No.
Which, side note, and whatever, she was much prettier as a goth person.
Yeah. I remember thinking this whole movie, I'm like, I know they're gonna change her, but she looks fine.
I think
that's her look.
I think she looked great both ways. I really truly do.
It's just
and granted, okay, so
and they hook up and then Bender and what's her name? Bender and Claire hook up. It's like he has done nothing
and he's only known her for 8 hours.
And just he has done nothing but torture them and torture her specifically. He straight up said he was going to sexually assault her.
He did.
and they hook up. I
that
go,
is problematic. No, when he put his face in her crotch, like that was weird.
Oh, you know what makes it weirder? What's his name? Judd Nelson was 25. Molly Ringwald was 17. When this came out.
To be fair, I'm trying to remember that exact scene. And I'm trying to see.
He's hiding under the desk, but then he sticks his face down there, and I'm going.
The way they actually shot it, though,
was uncomfortable.
Yes.
That was like, why? Now him getting kneed in the face was funny.
That was funny. Well, that's the thing.
But I didn't need to see any of that other stuff.
I mean, I appreciate though the fact that she immediately kneed him and kicked the crap out of him.
I don't even know if she meant to.
Oh, she absolutely meant to. Are you kidding me? If you don't want someone to stick your face in your crotch and they do, you're gonna knee them.
I thought it was a natural reaction.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Not as much of a she's upset, more of just
okay.
No, it's she definitely.
It doesn't make it okay. I'm just saying, like I think that's what happened. But him getting kneed in the face is funny, but it's not worth what we had to do to get there.
Now, don't get me wrong. Like there are moments where Bender shines, like give himself up for the rest of them to get back to the.
Or when he talks about when he tries to be truthful about how his dad beats him, and then they don't believe him.
Like that's good. That's really good. And then they backpedal immediately by making him be a jackass again. There's no progression for him, and I don't understand why he gets to be the hero at the end.
For me, the way that plays out is I have seen people that in my life that have done the same, redeeming stuff. You think they were doing okay, and then they do something really stupid again, and it just brings it back. I just think that's a very natural human thing to see, and I think they portrayed that really, really well in this movie. And I know that's what you're complaining is that it seems like at the very end they all bounce right back. But I think I have seen that happen so many times. Is where you connect with people over you're in the same room for 4 to 5 hours.
But a connection is different than change, and this portrays it as true change, as actual change, at least as far as a high schooler goes. That's my issue with it is that you don't just change like that in 8 hours, even if you make a connection with someone. Like that whole spiel with Molly Ringwald doing the, once we get back, you're just gonna say hi to him and then pretend like he doesn't. Like that's true, right. But then don't act like he actually changed.
I think it plays is both ways, and I think that's why I really like this. I think you can look at it one way, just going I'm replaying this in my head, and I just really feel like you can look at this as the characters do actually change, and you can look at this where you think because they don't show you what happens the next day in high school, obviously.
No, but Molly Ringwald said years later, "Oh yeah, they just went back to their groups." Yeah, which is funny. But then John Hughes never said it before he died, so we don't have his word on it.
I mean, we don't, but I don't know. I like I said, I think it perfectly encapsulates what it's like to be a teenager
in the 80s.
That's the other thing is you can't really evaluate a piece of work outside of the context of his time, but it doesn't make it okay.
Yeah. I mean,
can I, on the spur of the moment, add a new segment to our favorites?
Oh, I'm so curious.
Is it called what Drew says?
We are going to call this Drew's Corner.
Drew's Corner. You gonna put a little logo down here?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, and you should have a bunch of bike bells boop, 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 boop. And it's it's time for Drew's Corner.
Just have him Zoom call me one night.
Yeah. Just
capture it.
Phone in.
So I was talking because I know that this is a hyper class. This is a classic movie, and having my issues with it does not distract from that because again, there are a lot of good things about it. Mm-hmm. I said, Drew, I might be blasphemous in this, but I don't know that I like The Breakfast Club. He said, I think it's acceptable not to like it and other Hughes films. They've not necessarily aged as well as you might hope, and I feel like his films are the type you have to see at the right age or you kind of miss the boat. Like a lot of Mel Brooks films or The Princess Bride. You can appreciate it as an adult, but you'll likely never bond with them as well as you would have if you would have seen them in, say, middle school.
I agree. I think when you see this,
thanks, Drew.
This smack
Thank you for visiting Drew's Corner.
I think that's why I connect with this so much is because I was watching teenagers when I was a teenager. I was seeing
and
different parts of my personality through the way that they were acting. I'm like, I get it.
And it is legitimate that you do that. I, as an adult watching this, was terribly infuriated.
Which is valid. But the one thing that we've been talking about a lot about the kids. Why can I? Oh my God! I was about to mention the teacher's name. I don't remember his name.
The teacher's name?
Who the heck is the teacher?
You see the
Dick
principal?
Vernon.
Dick Vernon. Yeah, I like what they did with Vernon and like the conversation that he was having with the janitor. I think that age is like fine wine. Like, do you really think
the janitor's the only likable character in the movie?
He kept it real. Like I really, really, really liked the way that he interacted with the kids. And like I was going to go back to the conversation he was having with him. It's like, do you really think when you were a teenager, you would have liked somebody who's acting like the way you are? No. Like you have to just realize that just like you're two drastically different generations. And I think that is important to today. Like, look, we're like in our mid to late 20s and you're in your 30s and like, like you just forget what it's like to be a teenager, and you think you know everything that you still don't know everything, and they definitely don't know anything. So I think it's all about relating to the younger generation, not treating them like crap, even though.
But if it's about relating to the younger generation, why do we spend so much time focusing on the change of the Breakfast Club?
Because it's not just
called the
about
Breakfast
that, but it's
Club?
about both. I think it's about.
They never once ate breakfast.
Yeah.
You know, that's
my
a valid point.
That's
actually.
the joke
my
everyone's been
favorite.
telling for 30 years.
I don't know
But
why.
still,
it's called the
I've
Breakfast
never
Club.
understood that. Like, why are they called?
Is
the
it because they
Breakfast
met
Club?
at like what time? Like they went in at like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Like is that
Something
why?
like, but yeah, but
They
like,
went in at
but they
breakfast?
never even mentioned breakfast.
No,
They ate lunch.
I can't argue that. I don't.
And
know.
Amelia West had a giant lunch.
funny.
That
That
lunch
scene was funny.
fantastic.
I don't even know her name. The klepto girl.
So Ali Sheedy's character is Allison. So you said Allie earlier. That is right. I think her name is Allison in the movie,
Okay.
as well as in real life. Being
Her
Allie.
making that sandwich was the highlight of that movie
God.
for me.
Oh, I was.
Like, I was
gagging.
watching. I was like, ugh.
I don't know. I feel like I related to her, at least for the first half of the movie, the most.
Yeah, like I think I saw a little bit.
What did you relate to? Who did you relate to, Jared?
The
Bender?
janitor.
Oh yeah, that's right. We said that.
That's the same
Everyone
thing.
else has all the fun. I'm just there to clean up afterwards.
Oh,
I don't feel sorry for you. You make your lot in life.
So, Dickey, you're Claire.
like I said, I truly see little bits of myself in all the characters.
No, you're Claire. You're a little princess.
I am
Yeah.
a little princess.
Princess. Are you Dick Vernon?
No,
The
he's
janitor?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So that's what.
Mr. Vernon is too mean and intimidating.
not. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. You just start. Okay.
There.
He is what his name is.
The janitor?
No, Vernon.
Vernon.
Oh.
He
Yeah.
is a Vernon.
What was I going to say? Oh, that's one thing that caught me off guard about the movie. For some reason, when the janitor first comes in and Bender starts talking about him being Brian's dad,
Mhm.
I took him seriously. And I thought it was actually Brian's dad. Like, I was like, because it was his mom that dropped him off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you never saw his dad, and so you're like, wait, is it?
At the end when he picks him up.
Mm-hmm.
I was very confused to that entire movie because of that one 30-second bit.
And also, I truly love the hijinks of them running around the halls and trying not to get
That's
caught.
very 80s.
It's very John Hughes. Like I feel like he did the same thing in Ferris Bueller's kind of like, it's just like he likes the silly, goofy hijinks, and I think this pulled it off really well. Okay, on that note, do you guys have anything else you want to mention about this movie?
Good soundtrack.
Oh my god.
I don't typically like 80s movies or 80s music, but it at least fit and was fun.
Don't you forget
Never mind, I don't
about
like
me.
it anymore.
I just feel bad for David Bowie because, I mean, well, okay, no,
I feel bad for Jake.
Me?
Yeah, you had to watch it. I say that and I like the movie, but it sounds like you didn't have a great time.
I feel bad
watching
for you. You had to watch the new guy.
Yeah, I feel bad for us. We had to
I don't
watch-
know. I don't feel bad for you. That's like the second movie in a row now that I've made you watch that was like, ugh.
Keep these picks going. It's
I tell you, I like to be a troll in these picks.
honestly, it's great. We got some good stuff.
You had a streak going, Jake. And most of my scene, actually all those in the second, you start picking stuff that I've never seen. It's like, oh.
That's because you're asking me to pick things and I'm picking them based on nostalgia.
Which is what this is about. It's your favorite.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would not. Yeah.
All right. Well, if there isn't anything else, thank you for listening to today's fantastic episode about high school movies. And if you want to stay up to date with the other videos that we have coming out on this channel, Jared, where can they find us?
Oh. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
I
Yep.
thought I heard something funny on the air.
Oh.
Was it our TikTok?
I don't know. Yeah, it might have been.
You can listen to us on Apple, Google, Stitcher, and Spotify. And hey, right here on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, comment, and please ring the bell so you can watch us be goofy, silly,
We're
willy,
basically
wacky.
the Breakfast Club of off-slate media.
Yeah. Absolutely. And don't forget to rate us on all those podcasting websites so it bumps up our numbers. So thank you once again for listening to today's awesome episode about high school movies. We'll have more great content coming your way very soon. So from all of us here at Off Slate Media, thank you for listening. We will see you next time.
You get the horns.
Oh, yeah. 12 months. 12 months.
2 months.
No. Yeah, it was 12. 2 months.
12 months, a whole
The
year.
whole year. I was confused.